Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Zuri. If you are new here, thank you so much for popping in. Welcome. If you are returning, thank you so much for the love. I absolutely appreciate it. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking about anyone who is on the GLP-1 medications that hit a weight loss stall of 6 or more weeks. Any one of you who are seemingly doing everything right, you're in a calorie deficit, you're exercising, you're doing what you need to do, and you hit a stall as well, or any one of you who is recycling that same 2 to 3 pounds over and over and can't get over the hurdle. Now, I'm going to share with you why that may be happening to you, and I'm also going to give you some tips to move past that. All right, let's get into it. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself. So I started my weight loss journey in 2024 at the end, and I started Mounjaro in January. And so during this journey, I've lost 50 pounds. And I do need to let you know that during this time, I have encountered many stalls. I was kicking and screaming to get off that 50 pounds. And so I feel like I'm an expert now regarding stalls. I had some medical issues. I was doing some things maybe right, maybe not so right for my age. I did a lot of research and I was able to uncover, what was happening, why it was happening. So I'm here to share that information with you so that if you are where I was, you'll know, one, you're not alone, and two, I got your back. We're going to be able to take care of it. GLP-1 medications are very effective. So much so that in a lot of cases, people are able to lose weight without even changing their diet, without exercising, without doing anything. All they're doing is adding on the shot to their regimen and they lose a lot of weight. You see people all the time. Oh, I lost 100 pounds. I didn't do nothing. Right? So it's very, very effective. But what happens over time is the body, after doing the same thing over and over, gets used to it. It becomes normal and it creates a set point. And that set point, in turn, we call it a plateau, right? So you started off, you were heavier, you had to burn more energy to do simple things and even to burn the food that you were eating. You had to do more and the body had to work harder. Therefore, you were losing weight. But as you lost the pounds, your body became more efficient and doesn't have to work as hard. So therefore, the pounds are no longer dropping off because it's at a normal, or maybe it thinks that you were starving, one of those things. So I want to share with you 3 clinical trials that talked about weight loss stalls. The first one was for Tirzepatide, and it was called Surmount Study 1 and Study 4. And so it analyzed the people who were in the study, and it indicated that on average, most of the people hit a weight loss plateau around 72 weeks. It also analyzed people according to how much weight they had to lose and an obesity scale. And according to the study, the more weight you have to lose, the longer you'll go at continuously losing weight before you hit a stall. But when you get off a large amount of weight, the stall is inevitable. The less weight that you have to lose, the faster you will hit a stall or a plateau. And it is a normal part of the medication. It's a normal process, right? Inevitably, you will end up with a stall. Now, here are some numbers. So if we're talking about how many weeks it would take a person, so the standard person who we would consider to be overweight would typically hit a stall about 24 weeks. The next class up would be obesity 1. That would be about 26 weeks. The next up would be class 2 and 3, and those are morbidly obese. They would hit a stall possibly around 36 weeks. Again, in this particular study, if they didn't hit a stall at one of those weeks, then around 72 weeks, they plateaued out. So there's going to be a time where your body, your metabolism says, okay, everything is good here. We're going to be stuck here. They also talked about it in regards to a percentage of weight lost. So a person can hit a stall at an average of 12% weight loss. Also, they can do it at 24% of your weight loss and 25% of their weight loss. So again, the less weight you have to lose, the faster the plateau would come. And again, this was a study called Surmount 1 and 4, and that was on Tirzepatide. The next study that I wanted to talk about was semaglutide, and it was step trials. So on average here with the semaglutide medicine, everyone on average would hit a weight loss stall around 15% of body weight lost. That rounds out most people around week 68. But again, if you have less weight to lose, you'd hit a weight loss stall faster. So I see a lot of people who've lost, 50, 60, 70, 100 pounds, and then all of a sudden they are at a stall. And according to these studies, that is normal, right? So the body is more efficient. It's going to plateau out. All right. And the last study is called Very Well Health. And that indicated that most people would hit a plateau in between months 9 and 12. So what does that mean? Besides the fact that everyone on the medicine at some point is going to hit a stall. Does that mean you click off this video and it's over? No. So now we know that it's normal. You're not alone. It's just everyday part of doing business with these shots. After some point, you are going to hit a stall. So this video is really going to talk about where do we go from here? So again, why does it happen? After your body is doing something for so long, it becomes more efficient in burning fuel and it just adapts. And it thinks either you are in a maintenance stage, that you've reached the weight loss goal that you wanted to be in, or it assumes that you're starving and it just puts you in a plateau. The heavier you are, the more weight you will lose. But again, it happens to everyone. And the clinical term for this, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm probably going to be messing this up, is metabolic adaptation. Yeah, you guys can in the comments that this, probably messed that up. But again, the body is just responding to what's happening, doing the same thing over and over and over. It's a survival mechanism. It just happens. So do me a favor in the comment and let me know if you are in a stall, at what time did it happen to you? Was it after you lost, 15% of your body weight? Was it 12%, 9%? Was it 72 weeks? How many pounds did you lose? Did you lose 70 pounds, 50 pounds? If you hit a stall, drop in the comments where you are and what time period. My stall came to me after 90 days. Like I was a weight loss machine. 90 days, I hit a wall and was like, oh no, I'm not losing nothing. I kept doing the same pound over and over, same pound over and over and over. All right. So let's kind of get into the solution and why you are here, right? I did all this rambling. Let's talk about why you're here. All right. So you are in a stall because of these couple of reasons. I'm just going to be clear. These are the reasons, these are the core reasons. The first one is you're eating in your diet. You're either eating too much, you're eating too little, or you're not eating enough protein. Simple. One of these, you're eating too much, too little, or not eating enough protein. Could be your hydration. Maybe you're not drinking enough, or maybe you're not getting electrolytes. Or you could be drinking too much and just peeing it all out and not having any electrolytes so that you're not really hydrating yourself. Or it could be your exercise. Possibly you're not exercising enough, or maybe the exercise is too much for your age or what you're doing. For me, I hate all of these, but for my exercise, I was doing high intensive cardio at 50 years old, and that was just too much. I was making myself exhausted. I wasn't drinking enough water, and I thought I was, and I wasn't drinking enough protein, and I wasn't eating enough food. Like I hit the whole gambit. I could just check. The next one, again, with your exercise, if you're not exercising, then you need to start. So if you're doing cardio now, maybe you need to add in some strength training or some resistance training. Or if you're not doing any type of activity, maybe it's time to start doing some activity. If you are doing strength training, maybe you can incorporate weights, or maybe you can incorporate walking, or you can incorporate anything different. All right. Next is you're either sleeping too much or sleeping too little, or you may not have an issue with sleep, right? But for me, sleep is my nemesis. I think in every video just about I'm talking about sleep because menopause crept up on me, and it just at night I average between 4 to 6 hours of sleep. Sometimes I can squeeze in a little more. I'm really, really focusing on my sleep because it's just I'm not getting enough. And when you're not sleeping enough, it will prevent you from losing weight, because at nighttime is when your body refreshes itself. And if you're not getting enough sleep, that's not happening. And it wasn't happening to me. And it's still something that I'm working on. So I got me a little watch. I kind of like it. It's a AMSA Fit watch. And so I thought it was really neat because I just got it. I had another one before, but I got this one. And it will detect, they call it hypoxia or sleep apnea. So I was thinking maybe I got sleep apnea, but according to the watch, it's saying that I don't. But I've only used it one day, so I'm gonna use it for a week and see. I was having crazy hot flashes, but the hot flashes are subsiding with the regimen that I'm doing. So I'm not necessarily waking up burning up hot, but I'm still waking up, and it may be that my body has conditioned itself to wake up every hour. So no matter what, it's waking up every hour. But I don't want to just digress and get into sleep because your girl is having an issue with sleep. Do me a favor. Tell me what you're doing for sleep. If you're going through menopause or you're having some sleep issues and you found some success with something, please do me a favor. Drop in the comments and tell me what it is that you are taking to make you go to sleep, because I need to try it. With my menopause, I don't want to take hormones, so I'm not quite there. So I'm taking sleep aids and this and that and this, and I'm willing to try anything I can in my sleep. So drop in the comments and tell me if you're taking something for your sleep that's working. All right. Along with sleep, maybe you have some stress that needs to be managed. If you're under stress or not sleeping well, that can also sabotage your weight loss. And then the last thing, which has happened to a lot of people, is that you could possibly have an underlying health issue that is causing you not to lose weight. Some that just pop to mind are thyroid disease, which I have, PCOS, sometimes depression, menopause, like your girl, menopause can make you not lose weight. You get that visceral fat around your stomach, and no matter what you do, it doesn't disappear. Having an underlying health issue, there's so many of them that will cause you to not be able to lose weight. So if you do have a health issue, the number one recommendation would be to work on that issue. All right, so now that we've talked about what the issues are, I'm just going to say them again. Your diet or your eating, I got my notes here, your hydration, your exercise or your activity levels, your sleep and or your stress, or possibly an underlying issue. So those are going to be the core reasons that will stress your metabolism and will cause you to stop losing weight while you're taking these medications. And so now that you know that, let's talk about, kind of in depth some things that you could do. The very first step in these is to determine if in fact you have the underlying health issue. If you have a health issue, you're not going to be successful as you want to be without going to your doctor and trying to get that managed or resolved, or just finding out how to work with your health issue. That's going to be number one. If you do have a health issue, you want to try to get that resolved or managed. Then after that, you want to find out if it's any of these other issues. And the way to find out if it's any of these other issues is to start tracking what you are doing. And it's so important because for me, as mentioned, I thought I was doing everything right. And when I started really tracking, I realized I wasn't. So I went back over a lot of my videos and I see all of these things that I said I wanted to do and I was thinking about doing, and I just procrastinated and didn't do a lot of them. Like I was saying, I was starting a keto diet a whole bunch of times. I eventually did do it, but it was like a hope of mine and I didn't do it. I also thought that I was doing, in and around just under 1,500 calories. But when I started tracking my food, I realized I was barely eating anything. On top of barely eating anything, I mentioned this in another video, is a lot of my calories were fake calories. I was using the fake protein shakes and candies and the bars and the whatever, and I was barely eating food. And when I did eat some food, it was just a little bit. So I wasn't getting the calories that I needed, and I was eating a bunch of fake calories, bunch of proteins. I thought, oh, I'm going to get my protein in, but it was fake protein sources. And for me, being 54 years old this month, that's not the way to go. So my nutrition wasn't good. I wasn't eating enough, and what I was eating wasn't good enough, and I wasn't eating enough protein. I wasn't eating enough whole foods. So if that's the case for you, then you want to try to track your food first to see if in fact you are eating too much and if you're eating too little. And if you're eating too much, then you need to be in a calorie deficit. Same thing for hydration. If you're not drinking enough water or fluids, that can stall your weight loss. So you want to track that as well and see if you're drinking enough. I hear a mention of 2 liters or 3 liters or something. I don't know. There are a bunch of charts that you can find, according to your body weight and height. But you want to make sure that you do your research and you track your liquids going in to make sure that you are drinking enough, because just that alone could stall your weight loss. And now your exercise. I know a lot of people who start these drugs are morbidly obese. And so maybe when you started, you weren't able to do walking or aerobics or exercise or anything like that. But if that's the case, and now you've stalled your weight loss, it's going to be important that you add some things in. So you can do aerobic activity sitting down. You can lift weights sitting down. You could do strength training sitting down. So you don't have to get up off the couch. You don't have to get off a chair. You still can move your body in ways that will be successful for you, that will be helpful for you, and that will enable you to get the scale moving. So if you haven't had any activity, then I challenge you to start walking if you can. You can even walk around your living room. I walk around an island in my little kitchen. I walk around my kitchen. I walk outside. I walk my dog. Start moving. If you're not moving, the first step is to start moving. Now, if you are doing aerobic exercises and that's what your go-to has been, then I challenge you to do something different, because the thing about moving past the set point is resetting your mind. And so if you weren't eating before, you eat. If you're moving around a lot, then you do something different. So if you're doing some cardio, maybe high intensive cardio a couple times a week, I challenge you to add in weights, add in strength, and add in resistance. And if you are doing weights, strength, and resistance and not necessarily doing any cardio, then I challenge you to switch it up and do cardio. So the way you get things moving is you do something different than you were doing before, and the body has to work in order to do this new things because it's not adapted to it. Sleep. You've got to get some sleep. So like I said, I'm working on my sleep. I've been able to increase my sleep, but it's still not 8 hours. But I have a nighttime regimen that has been very, very helpful. I make sure that I go to bed and I wake up at the same time. I've been taking little supplements. I do meditation. I listen to sleep meditation that helps me fall asleep. And then, of course, I wake up 800 million times during the night. I just go right back to it. I also, when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I hit outside so I can get some sun rays on me to help my circadian rhythm. All of these things I put in place to stretch that 4 hours to 6 hours to sometimes 7 hours. And I'm continuing to work on that. And I challenge you to do the same. So if you are not sleeping well, try to use a regimen. Try to start and stop your sleep at the same time. Try to use some of these meditation apps. Try to find something you can do to help motivate your brain and body to go to sleep. And then we've already talked about the health issue. So if you have a health issue, please go to your doctor and see about getting that managed. Then that way you'll be able to start losing weight again. So if you are stalled, You want to do something different to shake up your system, shake up your metabolism, and move things in the right direction. I've got a couple of other tips here. So first, again, check with your doctor, get the healthcare underlying, whatever it is, get that moving in the right direction. Also, after you start tracking your food, you want to find out, how much food you should be eating per day. And there's an awesome website. I'm gonna share the picture here somewhere. It's calorie.net. So if you go to this website, you'll put in your height, your weight, and where your goals are, and it will tell you how much food you should be eating per day in order to lose weight or to maintain. So that should be your point of reference. If it tells you that you should eat 1,500 calories a day to lose weight, then you want to try to use the 1,500 calories, but you want to track your food to make sure that you're either getting to those calories, like I was not doing, or that you're not going over those calories, because in some cases, some people are eating too much. After you go online, you do that, you track your food with some tracking apps. So I use Carb Manager sometimes, but you can actually go to Google, type in calorie counting apps, and a bunch of apps will come up. If you're an Apple user, you can do the same thing in the App Store, and you can choose one to your liking. Some of these apps allow you to scan the food, and when you scan the food, it'll automatically calculate the calories for you, which is really great, so that you don't have to keep typing stuff in or putting stuff in. But use some sort of tracking app. And if you're not an online type of person, start a journal, get a book, start writing down your food, the calories, the protein, so you can keep track of it, because it's really going to be important. And I say it's important because don't be like me and try to eyeball it and think that's what you're doing and end up stalling your weight loss. All right. I really appreciate you guys coming here. If you found anything that I've said of value or even entertaining, do me a favor, hit the like button. Let me know that you were here. Subscribe to the channel so that I know that you'll be coming back. And let's make this thing happen. All right. We'll see you.